Hi guys, it's Music King, and I'm here with Domo, and we're going to explain why Nintendo made a very huge update that was actually pretty bad for Smash Ultimate. So, Smash Ultimate, the new patch, all Switch games, the GameCube controllers have actually been affected in this new patch. So, this came out November 30th, and affected in a really, really bad way, which I'm going to explain shortly. First, Domo's going to explain what changed in the new patch on November 30th.
Hey guys, Domo here. So I'm going to cover some of the Nintendo Switch updates that don't involve GameCube controllers. So there's a timestamp that we're going to throw up on the screen right now. Go ahead and skip to that timestamp if the extra changes don't really concern you. So Nintendo shadow dropped a Nintendo Switch update called Nintendo Switch Update version 11.0.0, which basically launched a ton of new features to the Switch console. And I'm sure if you've updated your console recently, you'll have noticed a new app on the Nintendo Switch console called Nintendo Switch Online, which is basically like an app that kind of shows you, your status of your Nintendo Switch Online service and keeps you updated on new games to the Nintendo Switch or to the Nintendo NES or SNES games. Secondly, you can scan a QR code from your phone and then upload screenshots or videos to the Nintendo Switch Online service, which is pretty cool. Before, you didn't really have that option. You had to use shared content and other per-game features in order to have access to that kind of stuff, so that's pretty cool. A few other features that were added that are not related to Nintendo Switch Online app are things like the trending feature, which now you can finally go and see what your friends are doing, whether they're playing a certain game or not. And now you're able to connect your computer to your Nintendo Switch console using a standard USB cable, USB transfer cable, which is cool. That might open up some new opportunities for some of our more technical users. The last couple of things that I can briefly mention here are that you can now, if you're downloading multiple games or multiple demos, I've done that before, you can actually prioritize which one downloads first. You couldn't do that before, but now you can. And something they didn't mention on their support website is that they fixed drift on Joy-Cons and Pro Controllers. So basically, they kind of fixed that without really telling us. But it's been confirmed. And that probably led to some more issues with controllers that we're speculating might have affected GameCube controllers, which is something that Jason will explain now.
Hi guys, it's Music King again, and now I'm going to talk about how Nintendo completely ruined GameCube controllers for Smash Ultimate. So what do I mean by that? Well, on the Switch updates, controllers such as, Smashbox, HitBox, and, notably GameCube controllers, which most people are concerned about, the values have changed for a lot of things. In a nutshell, the short version is that it's much easier to do a smash attack, but it's more difficult to do a tilt attack. So what I mean by that? Well, the values for them have changed. So let's just skip tap jump because it doesn't matter as much. But basically, this shows you the gray area on this screen is basically where the control stick is. So imagine like a controller, right? And then you take the center of the controller and then you go up. So starting from the center, if the center of the controller would be 0 here, and this gray area would be the dead zone, and the red area is like the highest you can push up, basically. So this dead zone has gotten smaller, which means some people might need snapback mods now and stuff. But notably, you do not have to press the stick as far to do basically everything. So you need to make a habit now of pressing the stick less far in order to do almost anything. I'll give some examples. For up B, it registers earlier. So, well, this one is not really important because pressing it extra for up B doesn't really matter. So the tap jump and up B part I don't think is the extremely important part. What's extremely important is the tilts into smashes. So you see the dead zone is a little bit less. This is not a huge difference, but it's worth mentioning. The dead zone here is 24 instead of 27. And you can see how you can press the stick even slightly less than before to register an up tilt. The value's 20, there's like 25, 26, 27, for example. That now works for up tilt when it didn't before. Before, that would be a dead zone value. So that has changed slightly. But even more important to mention is the thing that changed significantly. And the thing that changed significantly is that the total window to do the up tilts is much smaller. So now if you up tilt by pressing like up halfway or so, or maybe slightly more than halfway, where you're barely on the border of doing up tilt versus up smash, and you have trouble deciding between the two, you might be doing up smashes by accident now, because there is 10 less of these units where it's more difficult now to do the up tilt. See, so they basically made smash attacks easier by making smash attack windows much easier, but they made the up tilt, forward tilt, down tilt windows much smaller. What does this mean? That means first you have to get used to the habit of if you do not want to use C-stick. First off, I recommend using C-stick tilts. From now on, I highly recommend using C-stick tilts. If you play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, set your C-stick to tilts. It'll be more consistent now, and with this update, that's more important than ever before, in my opinion. With that said, if you're really against using C-stick tilt for whatever the reason, and you just want to use the control stick and A with tilt, press the stick less on average. One reason is because it starts earlier than before by a little bit. And the second reason, which is even more important, is that you need to so that you don't do accidental smashes. The same day this actually came out, I was actually playing with Bowser, and I was trying to do Bowser's F-tilt angle down, it's 2 frames, although it's really a 5 frame for him, to the ledge, to hit people on their recovery as they're trying to grab the ledge. That's, what Bowser does commonly to Edgeguard. And I noticed I accidentally forward smashed. Now, in the past, I would sometimes forward smash anyway, because my controller is old, and as old controllers develop something called PODE, or P-O-D-E, that basically means it skips values. This is important to have for old versions of Melee with, vanilla Melee before UCF and all that other stuff, because basically it would, instead of reading inputs accurately, it would skip values, which means you're more likely to get dash back, which also means you're going to get smash attacks more by accident. But basically, one way to avoid this is by having like a new controller. So another way, having like a new controller can help. But notably, you want to change your habits to pressing the stick even less than before in order to do tilts. That is very, very important. So that applies to all tilts. For up tilt, up smash, forward tilt, forward smash, down tilt, down smash, which is all shown here. It also pretty much applies to anything else. Like you like the window now. The dead zones across the board are smaller, so it's easier to do the big on-off inputs. Like you have to press the stick less to crouch and stuff. I don't think this stuff matters as much as the tilt versus smashes. Another thing to mention is that if you play a character like Palutena or Samus or a bunch of characters who have like a weak side B, for example, Palutena. I'll take Palutena's side B as an example. Palutena has a weak side B, which is anywhere between 47 to 59. By hitting within this amount of the control stick pressed, if you're that much pressed on a control stick when you press B, when the game reads one of the frames, 60 times per second, if you do it in this range, 47 to 59, this is how it has been up to this point in time for most of all Ultimate's lifespan. In this whole range, you will do the short distance side B. This has been changed very significantly for the weak side B. Now, unless you're on the exact number 47, which is the only one that overlaps from the past, you have to press it much less than before. So Palutenas are probably going to mess this up for a while, where they're trying to do their short side B. They will accidentally be doing strong side B, because this is the range they're probably going to be in most of the time, which means this is where their habits are going to be, which means they're going to be accidentally doing a far range side B for probably a few weeks or months. The short version that is very consistent across all these things is that you want to press the stick even less than before for 2 reasons. One is that the dead zones are smaller across the board, and you can start things even sooner than you would otherwise. And the other reason, which is even more important, is that you're going to do accidental smash attacks otherwise. Yeah, as Domo said, the Pro Controller drifts are fixed, and this is not an update to Ultimate, this is an update to the Switch. So all the Switch controllers, anything to do with Switch controllers at all, as far as we know, Pro Controller stuff has been, the drift for Pro Controllers has been fixed. Maybe they did this for Pro Controller drift, maybe they did this for Sunshine, Mario Sunshine, who knows? All I know is that all the controllers are changed, and the concept of what I said, press the stick even less to do what you want, is pretty much something you're going to have to get used to now. Or just use C-stick tilts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was very informative. I overall think this is not a good update because, this feels like an unintended side effect. I feel like Nintendo was trying to let's fix the Pro Controller drift, or let's maybe fix something for Sunshine or something, but they had an unintended side effect of changing all the muscle memory we're used to. And in my opinion, I think making tilts more difficult to do is not a good thing. It pretty much almost, I don't want to say forces you to use C-stick tilt setup, but it highly encourages that, because I did, as I said, I did a Bowser force ramps by accident. I wasn't even trying to, because of my old muscle memory. So I don't personally like the update in terms of the way it affected GameCube controllers. All the other, fixing the Pro Controller drifts, joycon drifts, and all the things Dole mentioned are obviously good, but there, some bad came along with the good. So that's my opinion, and those are the facts that we know so far. I'll be crediting all the sources in the YouTube description below. Definitely check out the YouTube description before you leave. If you want to help out, I have merch and other items, other ways to support. If you want to help support us back, check the YouTube description. Consider buying any of that stuff. Help out. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, and see you guys later.